Hi everybody, Professor Little here. So I want to take a little bit of time and talk about the box model concept. So in this example, I'm going to be coding everything in Notepad, and I'm going to be using embedded styles for this exercise. So what you're going to see here is that I have created an ID to represent the main container. So one of the nice features about the box model concept and CSS is that you can make one big container that holds all of the objects on a page. So think of your container as the big Christmas present, and the other boxes inside, like when every time you open the box there's another little box inside. So that's kind of a funny analogy, but one that you can think about. So the whole idea here is that I want one main container to hold all of the objects, and the reason that I want to do this is to break up the rectangular space that's on my monitor. So in this example, I want to create something for a banner. I want to have a left column and I want to have a right column. So here I've just got the very minimums on my CSS to identify the various background colors of each of those boxes, so you can see this come to life. So if you look down in my HTML, my main container, I'm going to go ahead and create good comments to identify the containers from each other. So here I have my main container, I have a container for the banner, I have a container for the left column, and a container for the right column, and then I've subsequently identified that this div right here belongs as the end of my main container that I'm holding all of my objects in. Now I purposely laid this out with an H1 tag outside of the container, so you can kind of really see what the result of that would be. So remember that when you're using these the box model concept, you want to generally contain your objects within that container, because you can manipulate your the content of your pages to follow the rules of the main container, and then that way you can really place your other interior objects specifically. So in this example, I have that H1 tag outside of my main container. So truly my main container, even though you can see that I coded my container to have a background of blue, it's getting covered up by these other three containers that are sitting inside that main container. And I'll show you this in a minute. So basically I have the banner is yellow, the left column is red, and the right column is green. And right now to us, these just look like three rectangles that we created with these using the div tag to create the division on the page. So you can see where the main container is. I'm going to go ahead and define the width of this container to be 1024 pixels. And then, so you can truly see the whole container, because we don't have any text, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to have a height of 500 pixels. Now, once I refresh this, you're going to see that now this is my main container, and these three objects are sitting on top of that main container. And now I still have this H1 that is sitting outside of that container. So if I actually want that H1 to be as part of the width and the height that I've defined in my main container, then I need to go ahead and cut my code out of there and put that into the container. So now I'm actually starting to nest information, and once I've done that, you can see that I have my H1 at the very top. So the same would be true, because remember that HTML and the browser parse the code from top to bottom. So if I am placing these divs in certain areas, then I'm going to be getting different results as far as how the browser will be parsing that code. But if I'm going to be using absolute positioning, then it doesn't really matter, because then all of my rules are going to be doing what's defined in my CSS. So here I could really just move my banner back and Now I'm going to specifically define where do I want that information to go. So I do want to point out the importance of remembering that wireframes are really good sketches for you to be able to get a visual on what your page is going to be and what the width and height of your objects are going to be before you start coding. That can really save you some time if you take the time to do that. And make sure you review that wireframe article that I put in the D2L, because that kind of explains wireframes. So if you look on page 149 with that box model concept, you're going to notice the top margin plus the top border plus the top padding, height, bottom padding, etc. So all of those objects are going to affect the height and width of whatever it is that you're creating. So say for instance, I want to actually just take out this H1 tag altogether. And this text right here I want to be identified as my banner. So I'm going to go ahead and have that be my banner. And now you can see that I have all 4 boxes defined within my div. So now to further refine the object containers, these boxes that I've been doing, we're going to go ahead and add a black border around the main container so you guys can actually see the main container taking shape. So if I want to go ahead and add some padding within the objects within my container, then I can go ahead and add my padding, and I'll just do 15 pixels. And now everything that I put on the interior container will have padding all the way around all of those edges. Okay, so for centering this page, now we just need to go back to our code and add a margin for our main container and have that be automatic. And that will give us centering of the page on the browser. So now we can take the remaining containers, the banner container, the left column container, and the right column container, and place those to be floatable on the page and to expand or reduce in size based on the browser. So for the banner, we're going to go ahead and define that at a width of 100%. And we'll also define the height of that to be 10% of the screen space. So now you can see that our banner's at the top, and we now just need to position the left and right columns to split the remaining screen space. So our left column is going to be 50% of the screen space, and we also want to go ahead and float that left. And then the right column will take up the remaining width, and we'll make that 40% and float that right. And so what you can see here is that the right column is only taking up 40%, and the left column is taking up the 50%. So if I want to even those out, I can just split them equally to take up all that screen space. So to get a really good visual, we can add a height on the left column and the right column. So you want to go ahead and complete those assignments that I outlined for you in our content of D2L, and I'll be seeing you guys on Thursday for another lecture.